Good evening and welcome everyone here to Season 10, the anniversary season of GTRC WTCC. It's the season opener. Good evening. It is, like usual, Interlagos, one of the OG tracks in the calendar, and also this season, the season opener. While we're going through the grid, we'll feed you with some information about new cars, new drivers, some drivers who came back, and we see here on P13, unfortunately missed the qualifying, 5-time champion Jason Grant in the CPTL livery. Last time he raced was season 8, won the championship for Team Spirit, and this time he's in the lineup for CPTL, one of the teams who might be the favorites this season in the Peugeot RZZ. First time this car is in the lineup. It was in the carpool, I think three seasons now, never picked. But interesting pick here from CPTL. Then we have Slimmy in the BMW, another a new team, Project One, founded by Dominik who we're gonna see a bit later in the grid. Slimmy is reserving, has some really bad memories to last season when he had to disconnect in the final lap and lost the race, was 5 seconds clear. We have Tom Lipskamp, this is former Phantom S driver, this season as a privateer in the Suzuki Swift, was in the Phantom S Swift last season. P11 for him. Lucas Wake, last season's race winner. Again driving for Phantom S this season. They are in the Audi TT. We have Michael Woolacott, who's a bit team hopping. This season he's driving for Team Spirit. Season 7 and 8 he was in Sunset Outrun. Then last season he missed the first 3 races, I think, and had some really good results with the podium for CPTL. Then we have another reserve, a bit stupid to commentate myself. This is me, hopping in for Matteo Jean, one new driver we will see this season for Helix Racing, the reigning team champion. In the Megane, I think first ever appearance in the GT7 era of GTRC WTCC for the Megane, was always in the carpool, never picked. Maybe a bit underrated car. We're gonna see how the performance is. Last time I raced here, I think it was season 5, maybe season 6 with the Megane. We had 3 races and I was lucky that I won the second one. Then we have Dominik the second BMW from Project One. Last season competed very long for the team championship with Team Spirit. Made the step to his own team, Project One. Felt a bit robbed last season, as he was the guy who benefited from the disconnect and the lobby crash after I think 3 or 4 people finished. Crossed the line as first, but Stewart's decision, I think everyone agreed that it was the right decision, was to not count the race. Then the second Phantom S car in the TT, Langstadler, the Hungarian guy, had a guest appearance I think in the final round last season, and the first time we saw him here should be in the 3 hours of Road Atlanta. Pretty solid pace, good qualifying with P6. And then another OG comeback. We have Slippert here in the privateer Lexus. One of the guys out of the Team Spirit bubble. I think it is his first ever GTRC race in the GT7 era. I think his last season might be the final one on Gran Turismo Sport. Always a really quick guy, tough to fight. Then we have Ashby, last season in the privateer Lexus, this time in another new teams or a comebacking team, Inertia Works. In the Lexus again, so he knows the car. Had solid results last season on P4, just in the same row as his teammate. And another OG comeback, Will Sutters, the guy with a subscription to P2. Never won the championship. Of course, he will tell you that he never went for it. But definitely one of the guys to watch this season. P3 in the qualifying in the Lexus. Was the Drivers and Team Championship winning car last season. So definitely a guy to have an eye on. Then we have the number 1 Ruben Sereo, last season's Drivers Champion, Team Champion for Helix Racing in the second Megane. P2 for him in the qualifying. What is definitely the other guy to watch. Then we have Tyler Davison, the guy who dominated the races he attended last season. I think he drove 4 rounds and won 6 out of the 8 races he did. So was always on a brilliant pace in the BMW. Sometimes as a privateer, sometimes for FR Bono Racing, who unfortunately left us. Rizwan Hamza. But I think with the top 3 out of the qualifying, Tyler Davison, Ruben Sereo and Will Sutters, and definitely Grant, we should have an eye on the guys who might be fighting for the title. And so there you can see if there's both TPTL cars. This is also be my favorite for the team championship. We are missing a few drivers. Let me quickly check who wasn't there. As you saw, we just had one Team Spirit car. The other one from Stein van Hart was missing. We have Tom Holland, who missing the first round, the reigning Tom Coronel Trophy champion for the privateers. We have Sophie, who will miss about half the season, also privateer. And yeah, Matteo Jean, I talked about, the Helix driver, who missed the first round. But I think 13 cars, pretty solid grid for the season opener. And long story short, maybe a few words to Will Sutters last season. He was with me in the commentary. And also the steward. This season we decided to go for a kind of new system by involving all the team owners into the stewards, so that Will is actually able to drive. And yeah, incidents between cars will be judged by the team owners who are not involved. So, for example, if there's an incident between Inertia Works and Helix Racing, Will and myself would not judge the incident. We just give influence or our opinion on the POV. But the other 3 stewards, which I could name, with Kubinski as the owner of Project One, as LJ for CPTL, and as Pine representing Phantom S and Team Spirit. I think there are 5 fully experienced guys with a clean view on incidents. What finally gave Will the opportunity to race again. He always was a bit nervous when he saw all the cars on track and was here in the commentary with me. And yeah, good to have him back on track, but now we're going to race and see what race 1 brought us. Early morning here at Interlagos, cold track. So conditions pretty easy for the tires. So expected this Lexus start a bit better. Will Sutters trying it on the outside, has the outside line, lost the position against his teammate Ruben Serrao with the better acceleration than Tyler Davison, who looked a bit better off the line. But on the sprint to turn 1, Ruben Serrao made his way around him. But Davison is attacking. Serrao is covering the inside line. Pretty intense fighting here with Ashby followed by Sutters, then Kubinski, Woolacott, Slippert, myself a bit slidey here on the entry under the corner. Langstadler dropped down to P9. Slimmy with a good start, P10. Lucas dropped a position on P11. Grant picked up a half-second penalty and gained 1 position at the start. Tom Lipskamp at the end. But at the moment, while Tyler Davison made the move around Ruben Serrao, and Ruben Serrao has immediately pressure here from Ashby. Lost 2 positions in the last sector. So let's go back. We have plenty of overtakes, and if I have my good racing moments, I will show them to you. Now we have really close fighting here in the mid-pack. The top 4 are a bit gone. Woolacott and Slippert went a bit wide. Kubinski losing the rear of the BMW, so I could go around all of them to P5. Serrao in the slipstream of the top speed monster. The Lexus RZF. But it seems that the Megane has the top speed to counter it. While Tyler Davison built a little gap, also Will Sutters lost a bit. And there is Ashby completely overshooting the corner, missing his braking point. Running super wide, lost the position against Serrao and his teammate Will Sutters. Also rewarded with a 1-second penalty. We also see Slippert here, who gained the position against Thiesen, also with a 1-second penalty. Intense fights here all over the place. With plenty of guys here on penalties. We have 3 guys in a row with Woolacott, Slippert, and then it was Kubinski, I think, yes, with the 1-second penalty here. 6 cars on a square meter. Grant seems to a little bit struggling here with the car. Guess he missed the qualifying. I expect there was not that much practice. But we have clean fights here all over the place. Really, really good racing action. Of course, now it's a bit chaos. Well, 3 drivers have to burn a 1-second penalty. And the first driver is in the pits, and it's Ashby. A pretty solid decision to go for the pits when you have a penalty, as you don't lose the momentum for the entire straight. But at the front, Tyler Davison is increasing the gap to Ruben Serrao, and Will Sutters is getting closer to his rear. Then it's myself on P4. Benefited from the pit stop and all the penalties from the guys behind. So Lucas Wake made it to P5 after 3 guys had to burn the penalties and Ashby pitted. And we see Langstadler is on a penalty as well, half-second penalty, bit slidey entry here from Lipskamp, who also benefited a lot from all the penalties. And you see that it's really easy to gain positions if the other guys are on mistakes. But so far we have absolute clean racing here. No lag issues, but also is really, really important. And you see how much positions Slippert, Kubinski lost on the penalty. They dropped down to P10. Slimmy P12 in the BMW. And Ashby after the pit stop on P13. Sereo now again in the slipstream of Sutters. It seems that the Megane is at least not losing on the Lexus on the long straights. Lucas Wake is getting closer to P4 with Lipscomb in his tow. Slippert against Bluefin. Kubinski also in the pits. After 3 laps. Expecting the majority of the pit stops around lap 6 and 7. Everything else is kind of an undercut. And the thing that we saw last season seems to repeat, as Tyler Davidson seems to be just a bit quicker than everyone else. Will Sutters isn't gaining, and that's also have to have an eye in his rear mirror to Ruben Sereo. There's myself who picked up a half-second penalty. Guess what happens? Oh no, I'm gonna pit next lap. I don't have to burn it now. Lucas Wake is getting closer, will definitely be in striking range after the penalty. Lipscomb also with a solid pace here for so far. And there we have the 4-way fight. Langstadler, Wollacott, Grant and Slippert. Slimmy seems to be not able to stay on the rear. He and Tom Holland's car. So Lucas Wake will definitely take P4. And Sereo seems to be not able to get in striking distance to Will Sutters, who's on a purple lap time. Fastest lap so far also from Will Sutters. Sereo is losing a bit the rear of Sutters, as Sutters is absolutely setting the pressure high. Just 4,000 slower than his personal best. Now Thiesen in the pits, followed by Lipscomb, Woolcott and Slippert. Again, which way is the best, changing tires or not? The daily struggle of a GTRC WTC race. I think most of the guys didn't decide to change the tires. Slippert did, also Woolacott. Lipscomb stayed on the old rubber, I think, so switched for new softs. So 3-way fight here between Grant, Slimmy and Langstadler. Langstadler searching a way around Grant here, not hitting the perfect line. Slimmy in his rear, but Grant is on a half-second penalty. Seems to have a bit problems here with the track and with the track limits. So after the pit stop, where Ashby stayed on the old rubber, He gained a lot of positions, a lot of time on me. He's now immediately on my rear. Sergio now in the pits. Sutters and Davison staying out. Bit wide here on the exit. Should be enough for Ashby to execute the move on the main straight. Looking for the inside line. Yeah, clean overtake. Let's see where the strategy brought him. So it is after pit stops, P4. Don't think that Davison and Sutters will drop that far after the pit stops. They were pretty much ahead of everyone else. Sergio stayed on the old rubber. Wasn't always the best decision on the front-wheel driven car. Another half-second penalty here for Thiesen. And running wide, so Lucas Wake and also Langsteller will get in striking distance with this 1 second penalty. And also Lipscomb and Slipper are not that far away. So there it is, he lost 3 positions, 2 positions. So after the pit stops, Tyler Davison stayed ahead. Stayed also on the old rubber. Same for Will Sutters. And Sergio, whose tires looking a bit worse than everyone else. But it should be good on this early morning conditions where the track is quite cold and you don't use that much rubber because the tires are not overheating so fast. Then we have Ashby now after myself burnt a penalty. Lost a bit, and then we have a big four-way fighting group here. So Slipper seems to be slightly quicker at this point. Oh well, my headset died. So we're back, headset is back again. That's all good, it survives. So Thiesen and Slippert could lose a bit of contact to Wooler could. and Lucas Wake. Slippert has the inside line. Completed the move through the Senna S's. Really clean overtake here from Slippert. But the counter is following. But Slippert is able to carry the momentum on the outside line. And Wake, Woolacott are back in the business. Wake now attacking Thiesen. Also Woolacott. Three-way fight here. Lipscomb making it a four-way. Thiesen on the inside line against Woolacott. Seems to play well for Slippert at this point. As he losing the contact to this fighting group. In the front, no changes. Davison, Sutters and Serreo pretty much sorted. Also Ashby is pretty clean on track. Then is Langstadler looking pretty safe on P5, and then the fighting starts with P6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Woolacott against Wake here on the straights. Also Grant against Lipscomb. There's contact, but never on a dirty way. Everybody leaving enough space for the other one to survive. Wake now inside line against Woolacott. Side by side racing here. But Woolacott seems to stay ahead, has the inside line now for the long right-hander. But Wake is not giving up. Had to go a bit wide, switch back from Woolacott. Counter from Wake. Lipscomb searching his way through. And Grant picked up a penalty again. And that's it, with leaving enough space. Woolacott went a bit too wide. Tapped Wake in the grass, costing him 3 positions. Slimmy Cam on P12 has to solve a 1.5 second penalty. We had to disconnect from Kubinski early in the race. So top 5 is looking absolutely sorted. Also Slippert and Thiesen not looking like they could get in a fighting position again. Woolacott, Lipscomb, Wake and Grant lost plenty of time in this fighting. And the battle continues. Woolacott and Lipscomb, really good friends, former teammates. So far, this is absolute brilliant racing we get here, delivered from all of the guys. Only thing I saw so far was the little tap a lap ago from Woolacott against Wake. And Wake is now looking for a way around Grant, the 5-time champion. Seems to be not so comfortable so far with the Peugeot. Slimmy Cam P12, but there's no run really off pace here at the moment. course, Davison, Sutters and Sereo seems to be in a kind of an own league. But they had clean air from the really beginning of the race. Weren't involved into any fights. While Ashby managed on a risky strategy. We see here the tire on the front right hand side, sorry, is pretty much worn. So this can be interesting if you go for the strategy in the feature race, as the track is a lot warmer there. We have Langstadler, and we missed an overtake. As I'm involved, I know that Slippert had to burn a penalty, what gave me the opportunity to pass him. Almost lost the car here. And now, as I know what happens, I'm gonna take you on a final lap with Slippert. It's interesting that the Lexus is really struggling to follow them again on the long straight. Clean run through the S's here. Brilliant first sector from Slippert. 2.5 tenths purple to Sutter's time. So patient waiting here for the perfect moment. Himself went a bit wide here, a bit over the grass. And this is a finish for P6 and 7 in between 9 thousandths of a second. I can tell you it was absolutely great fun this last lap, even if I lost the position. So congratulations, Tyler Davison stayed where he finished the season with a brilliant result. P1, really uncontested, Will Sutters. P2, Sereo on P3, followed by Ashby, so really good result for Inertia Works. Langstadler in the first Phantom S car. Slippert best privateer with P6. Second Helix car with myself, P7. Lipscomb second privateer, P8, followed by the second CPTL car of Jason Grant. Woolacott with P10. Lucas Wake, P11, Slimmy on P12, and the second Project 1 car, Kubinski, with the disconnect. So not the best start for this new project, but there's a race 2, and as this is a connection issue, we know from Kubinski, since he had to switch on his Polish account, he will be involved in the reverse grid. There's the rule that rage quitting won't be benefited with the pole. But as this was previous a disconnect, and we know the issues, he will be the pole setter for the second race. I will be back in a second. So I am back. The second replay should be in my gallery. Yes, there it is. So what we saw, one absolute intense season opener. Brilliant, brilliant racing from all of the guys. We had a lot of fighting, especially in the group from P6 to the end of the grid. But overall, I think the grid was, in the end, splitted by less than 30 seconds, what is always a good sign of clean racing, no bigger mistakes. And yes, we're going for race 2. Starting at the back again, of course, Tyler Davison, reverse grid, P13, Will Sutters P12, Sereo P11, and Ashby on P10. So the top 4 out of the qualifying in a different order. Only Sereo and Sutter switched. Were also the quickest in race 1. Then we have Langstadler on P9, Slipper P8, P7 for Thiesen, Lipscomb P6. Good starting position for Grant. Maybe he can do a bit better from a bit more ahead in the grid. Woolacott P4, Lucas Wake P3, Slimmy and Kubinski completing the front row lockout for Project 1. I think they hope for a better start, but let's hope that at least Kubinski's connection will last for the full 20 minutes. Rolling start. Will be pretty interesting, because usually race 2 is a bit rougher, as the quick guys from the back of the grid try to make their way up to the front as soon as possible. Slimmy Cam immediately attacking his teammate. Really good Sennas from Slimmy, but on the exit he's losing a bit time. But we have Lucas Wake immediately on Woolacott, has the inside line now. Grant defending his 5th position against Lipscomb. And Slimmy was a bit wide. Maybe picked up a penalty. No bigger changes in the back of the grid. We have Langstadler, who's being the first one in trouble. Against the top guys. So let's see what happened here in the front. I think someone went wide. Nice 4-way fight here. Don't exactly know who went wide. But let's see. Let's go with Lucas Wake's on board. Well, let's go with Gran's long on board. I think it was a CPTL car that went wide. Yeah, 3 cars went through the corner. It was Slimmy Cam who was a bit forced off track. And there we had bigger impact. Nothing too bad. I think Slimmy lost more time than I lost. But there are brilliant battles here all over the place. So this intense battle here from the race 1 top finisher. Slimmy Cam had to earn his penalty, drop down immediately to the back of the grid. Sereo on 12, Sutters managed to get around Davison and Sereo. This is brilliant door-to-door action. And Langstadler is still able to defend against this pack of hungry wolves. Davison against Sutters. Sutters a bit later on the brakes. And then it's Langstadler who, missing his braking point, went wide, picked up a penalty. Also Tyler Davison picked up one. Looked a bit like an unnecessary one, as there wasn't that much space for him to go anywhere. Let's see. Dominik Kubinski, really quick after his disconnect, already built a gap to Michael Woolacott, who's on a solid P2 at the moment. Lucas Wake P3. Then it's the pack of Gran, Thiesen, Lipskamp and Slippert, who are the next ones that gonna be fighted from Will Sutters and his teammate Ashby. Slipper trying to get past the Swift of Lipskamp. Lipskamp has the inside line. And Slipper missed the apex, lost a lot of momentum, and is now in trouble of another Lexus. Will Sutters is immediately on his rear, but both in slipstream, so it will be really difficult to attack for Will Sutters. Having a look at the inside. Was there contact? Little contact here with Slippert, who got a 1.5 second penalty for this. Then he lost the car again. Maybe dirty tires. With Ashby and Davison, we have 2 really early pit stops. Ashby picked up a 3-second pit lane penalty. Really painful one. I think these 2 guys underestimated a bit the difference of the track temperature, because both not changed tires. Pit stop is just necessary to refuel. Tire change isn't mandatory. So Wake and Grant seems to get a little closer to Woolacott on P2. Sutters here on the inside against Thiesen and Lipskamp. Lipscomb slightly benefiting from the battle. Thiesen looking for the inside line, but not close enough to complete the move. Sereo meanwhile on P8. Slimmy Camp P9. Langstadler after the penalty. And the long way in turn 4 on P10. Slippert burned his penalty on P11, and you see we have 4 laps in the race and the tires are much more worn than in race 1. Tyler Davison and Ashby on P13. I think Ashby went for fresh tires, while Davison left the old rubber on. Who's the next one we're going to see in the pits? I think the guys in the front will stay as long as possible on track. Lucas Wake against Jason Grant. Audi versus Peugeot. Let's have a look at this one. Both absolutely late on the brakes. No contact between the cars. Only plenty of time loss. And there is a slipper on Langstadler's rear. Seems that the Lexus had a bit top speed nerve. Was the fastest car on the straights last season, but now he has the inside line. Staying on his line, completing the move. And so he's now completing the top 10. Ashby lost a lot of time here on the pit stop. Kubinski still in front, but it's not like he's much quicker than Woolacott, both going for the pits. In lap 5, Lucas Wake will now take the provisional lead, followed by Jason Grant. Also Sutters, Lipscomb, Langstadler are pitting for Kubinski for fresh tires. Langstadler stays on the old rubber. The rest, I think, realized that the tire wear is much higher than in race 1. So let's see how the early pit stoppers tires looks like. Tyler Davison, pretty much worn rubber. Now attacking Will Sutters. Brilliant overtake here from Tyler Davison. A bit pushier from Sutters, but immediately lifted the throttle. So now the rest of the pack is in the pits, except Slipper to stays out the lap longer in the Lexus. Pretty well fuel managing. Oh no, I think this is his disconnect. Yes, he's out of the lobby. Yeah, unlucky disconnect for him in the second race. Let's see if Kubinski can stay in the lead. See the cars on the pit exit, but he should stay comfortably in the lead. Will be close between Rulercoat and Wake. But Rulercoat defended his P2. Grant on P4 at the moment, hunted by the CPTL pack, and then the two Halex cars immediately behind them. Oh, bit of contact here between both CPTL cars. Davison pushed his teammate a bit wide. Gave him the chance to overtake. And Will Sutters, brilliant pit stop strategy, even with pitting for fresh tires. I think his in-laps were absolutely fast, yes. Fastest lap, then a really, really close one to the fastest before his pit stop. Managed to get to P4. Davison against Grant. So these CPTL guys are giving no gifts to each other. Davison covering the inside line. Grant tried it around the outside. And yeah, Davison is on the old rubber. He pitted in lap 1. And might get really, really in trouble in the end of the race with this tire wear. And it seems that Grant is slightly quicker on the better material. Currently not finding a way around his teammate. And so they are losing contact to the top 4. And here's Sereo now, side by side with Davison, already passed him. Let's see. This looked like a really spontaneous overtake from Will Sutters. Brilliant reaction, sticks to his line. I think Rulercoat was a bit surprised after this. Kubinski still very, very comfortable in the lead. So maybe he can take his first ever GTRC victory. Even after Grant passed his teammate, he's not able to escape. Also, Soreo is looking for a way around Tyler Davison. I have my doubts that Tyler Davison tires will last to the end. Usually he's pretty smooth on the tires, but this time he's really putting them to the limits. There's the train. CPTL, Halex Racing. On the main straight, bumper to bumper. They're really dangerous, this situation between both Halex cars. Joey here on board. Decided really early to go for the outside. And then suddenly my teammate was in front of me. But we have also fighting here around P10 with Langstadler, Slimmy and Lipskamp. And also Ashby is getting closer to my rear. So this is going to be a nice five-way fighting group here for P8. Ashby also pitted very early in lap 1 on the old rubber. Still solid lap times. There is rubber left, so definitely possible to be quick here. Maybe now he's going to have a look into turn 1. Early decision for the inside line. And Lipskamp with a brilliant Senna section is immediately on the rear. And there's the move from Lipskamp here against Ashby. Waited for the perfect moment, and then there is the first bigger incident. We have this race. It is Ashby completely overshooting the corner. And also Slimmy tries to benefit from the situation. At the front, well, we have 2 more laps to go. Dominik Kubinski might see Will Sutters, who's now on P2, in his rear mirrors. And there's an intense battle here between Lucas Wake and Woolacott for the last spot on the podium. Woolacott having a look at the inside. More momentum here for Woolacott. Brilliant move around the outside. But Lucas Wake sticks his nose in the inside line. So this is gonna be a hot one on the final lap. We have Jason Grant on a solid P5, Tyler Davison on P6, Ruben Serrao immediately on his rear. So it might get intense between P5, 6 and 7. But I think Tyler Davison has now the wounded car. Slimmy Cam against Thiesen here on the outside line. So battle for the top 10 is also pretty intense. Went a bit wide. Slimmy got position. Clean and easy overtake. Four-car slipstream train to turn 1. It's again Ashby who overshoots the corner. Needed the whole length of the track and the depth of the track to keep it on track. Made contact on the exit. But it seems that Dominik Kubinski can make his first ever GTRC WTCC win. Last time we saw him in the BMW, he was really struggling with the car. This time perfect execution. Also flawless on track limits. It was one of his problems in the last season. So congrats Dominik, first ever GTRC WTCC win. Will Sutters sticking to his role of the second. Only driver to manage a double podium. Michael Woolacott back on the podium. Lucas Wake on P4. Jason Grant P5. P6 for Ruben Serrao, who passed Tyler Davison. Tom Lipscomb on P8. Slimmy on P9. Ashby P10. And yeah, the cars with the not changed tires had really much trouble in the end. But overall, I think we saw one of the cleanest and best GTRC races I ever witnessed. I mean, I had the impression that it was a pretty good one on track yesterday. But in the comms, it showed even more that there was absolutely brilliant fights all over the place. And yes, so what else can I say? We'll see you next week. I think in my eyes, driver of the day can only be one driver. This is Will Sutters with the double podium. Also should be enough to take the lead in the championship. Brilliant result also for Woolacott, the only Team Spirit car. And yes, we'll see you next week. Hopefully live again. As much as I enjoyed racing, I also enjoy the comms. So have a good night and see you next Wednesday.